Broodwich here, 3v3, Estia Province, blue team. We've got Haidran as a Ravenous Alpha who's not moving. There he goes, a tunneling commander with great mobility, can also put out some serious damage and support a bit. Fights range combat to begin with, alongside Seahorse is a Warlock melee commander that can leap into combat, some awesome disruption and mobility, can tank damage and deal damage pretty nicely too. And rounding off this blue team is Finale as an Apothecary support commander that fights in a melee combat. Battle begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration auras on Blood Ravens on show. Red team, whole bunch of Imperial Guard. First up is Marutectz as a Lord General. Fights range combat begins with a retinue to help him out. Really good defense and support capabilities. This is the Death Core of Krieg DLC. Alongside FrozenVapor is a Commissar Lord. Good offense and support. Fights in melee combat begins with a refractor field to protect him, known as Vapor these days, I believe. And rounding off this red Imperial Guard team is Broodwich as an Inquisitor, offensive commander. Lots of great control abilities. Begins in melee combat, but can get ranged weapons. A bit of support too on her. Facing some Space Marines. Here comes that Apothecary. Looks like he's backing away. Meanwhile, this contested power, Banshee's being forced off by volleys of Lasfire and the Commissar Lord in there as well. Some melee attacks. Now the Apothecary is fighting two players. Needs to be very careful. Doesn't want to drop scout models if he can help it. Hammer of the Witches on the tactical marines will get a heal. Forgets about his scouts momentarily. Will they get away without a loss? They lose one order. That's not too bad. Oh, they lose two. That's the Commissar Lord's excellent pistol. There's a lot of damage with his sidearm. I think it's like 17 DPS or something. It's more than tactical marine. And he loses a marine as well. Ouch. Just ouch. Loses two. That was bad. He tried to wait for Seahorse to come back into the fight, but I think he should have backed the hell away as soon as he saw two players there. Sentinel for both Vapor and Broodwich. Warlock with the Immolator up. Should be able to get away. Just about does so. Inquisitor with a plasma pistol, of course, chasing him down. And a good push from the Imperial Guard players, catching Finale 2v1. And then, of course, Seahorse came out and want to support 2v1. And it's engagements like that, it's passages of play like that that lead to victories in team games. Don't fight alone. It's really important not to fight alone. Lord General with the flak jacket. We'll see him coming up. I think it actually gives you knockback immunity as well as the defensive bonuses. So pretty awesome war gear right there. Tyranids now getting flanked by Broodwich. Nicely done. Coming in from the east side. No terrible losses though for Haidran. Does like to use ranged Tyranids, Haidran. I've played against him a couple of times as the Ravenous Alpha. Usually gets at least one Ravenous Brood up and gets the nasty Tyranid range blob going. Marutectz with a heavy weapon squad on the way on that west side to try and control those Tyranids. FrozenVapor has some Catachan Devils, very versatile infantry. Detectors as well. Disrupt. Counter melee squads can do a lot for you if you can micro them well. If they don't get caught by any nasty AoE. Devastator setting up for Finale. Has some shotgun scouts also to try and keep those Imperial Guard commanders at bay. The Inquisitor now has her Holy Brazier that gives her a 50 DPS power melee weapon, so she can tie up marines pretty nicely with this thing. Also gives you Holy Pyre. Help her drop some Eldar models, that's for sure. And there we see, ouch, the Commissar Lords inspire courage on the Catachans, doubling their damage but making them unable to retreat for the duration. Big risk reward ability. So powerful though early on for the Commissar Lord. You catch a player unawares, maybe a new player doesn't know what that buff does. All of a sudden they're taking double damage from a squad, even if it's just guardsmen. Really does mount up. Banshees struggling, I think, to make an impact against double stomp Sentinels, and those Catachans getting caught though, and the stomp saves them, I think, getting away with two models somehow. Grenades flying in, Guardsmen easily dodge them, and look at that las fire peppering those Dire Avengers. Losing models left and right, but they are able to get away just about. Ouch, there's Immolate casted at the Warlock's feet. A good way for him to fight melee squads early on. 355-499 forces off the Guardsman, and blue team will protect their power. What's going on west side though? Ouch, Marutectz is bunched up a little bit there, taking big shots from the Barbed Strangler, and his heavy weapon squad got caught by Adrenal Gland Hormagaunts. Now these guys should not be underestimated in tier 1. They really do pile on attacks. I think it's a 20% damage increase or something. And now power's being bashed there. And blue team pushing back very quickly. Quickly bringing his Devastators up maybe a bit too far. They do get a heal, which might save them from losing on model, I think. Yes, it does. Haidran going after the Sentinel, puts down the Immolate in fact, but there's a Hammer of Witches in his face, almost goes down because of it, but does get away. You see the health regen helping him out there because the Apothecary got close. He's still being chased with 1 hit point, and he does in fact go down. 355-470. Bunch of piercing damage now raining in from the Dire Avengers. They both have their aspect, as you can see, which makes them into such a powerful unit early on if they can use their abilities well. Their grenade, their shields of course, which would help greatly actually against these double Imperial Guard right now. That's a defensive smoke grenade from the Catachin Devils. I think it grants 50% damage resistance and suppression immunity, so it really is a cool ability. Doesn't affect outgoing damage at all, I don't think. 355-449 Seahorse with Wraith Guard on the way. Generally seen as a very good choice against Imperial Guard in team games, especially double Imperial Guard here. Will wreck the Guardsmen, of course, and really hurt the Sentinels if he can hit them. What's this? Bane Wolf? It is a Bane Wolf dropped in by Broodwich. Awesome, awesome drop. Going to speed towards the generators now and melt them all down with its chem cannon, or dissolve them rather. Look at the speed of the power bash. Not quite so effective on this map since the natural powers are quite far away from each other. But on something like Calderis you can catch both powers pretty nicely. Argus as well. 355-420. Takes down 2 gens. Banshee's now chasing with the aspect of strength. Gives them a 50 DPS heavy melee spear on the Exarch. Bane Wolf able to get away. Sentinel with the missile launcher now. He's fighting 2 versus 1 Broodwich. Not sure where Vapor is. He's gone to the west side to help out Marutectz. Looks like it's a good push there. Heavy turret is up from that Lord General. That's from his global bar. Ouch. Zone throat getting shots on the Guardsman. Might want a Chimera out there, Marutectz, to support all that infantry he has. 355-417. Power bashing. Can Broodwich hold in the meantime? Just needs to defend his power now. Looks like he's going to be able to keep the pressure up with his Bane Wolf missile launcher. Tactical Marines getting a shot. Wraith Guard trying to weigh in as well. These guys doing huge damage to all targets. They're also heavy infantry, quite tough themselves and can't be suppressed. So you can easily just walk up to a turret or a suppression weapon team and blow it away. Tyranids pushing against 2. Here comes the Eldar player though to help out. Shotgun blast in their face. There's the Immolate, nicely done by Seahorse, I should say, sorry. 337-417. Imperial Guard forced off the field. Now blue team have the number advantage here. Can they make it count with a push against that turret and maybe against this power? 331-417. They are pushing the east side. Nicely done. Finale did not let the Bane Wolf hold him back. Mandate goes up from the Inquisitor, which saves her. Apothecary needs to heal himself. Has the anointed power axe. Might go down in retreat, and in fact does. Little bit sloppy. Should have retreated earlier. Well, he's an Apothecary, so he can, uses the drop pod, so he can't use the Laraman's Blessing. Retreats, or rather reinforces his tactical marines with the drop pod, and that drop pod will now act as a reinforcement point. Has a las cannon, So the Bane Wolf really is in trouble if it comes back out here. 304, 417, double tactical marines. Needs to retreat one of them though. These guys with their sergeant not losing a model though. 279 hit points with 4 models. Red team getting their power harassed seriously here. Being penned back into base. Marutectz did get a Chimera, but it didn't last long. Unlucky. Hit by 2 players. Turret is still there. It's an executioner now as well. Brave Guard are going to come and destroy it, I would think. After they force off the heavy weapons squad anyway. Double grenades. None of them hitting Marutectz. Looks like he has the Commissar retinue member on his Lord General, which boosts the damage of his retinue, I believe, by 15%. Also gives him that awesome refractor field, which I think gives a 55% damage reduction. It is quite small, but getting that damage reduction on just the Lord General and the retinue himself is pretty nice. 267, I should say, 417. Inquisitor pushing forward for Broodwich and capping the wreck point, or rather decapping. That's plus 15. Fully matured for a 3v3 game. Here comes that Bane Wolf. Needs to try and type that las cannon quickly. I imagine with his Inquisitor herself. Does not have anything else to tie up the tactical marines though. So I think he should just back off here. He's staying in play. Missile launchers weighing in on the Bane Wolf. Finale now has some Stone Guard veterans as well, upgrading to their Hellfire rounds, or rather switching to their Hellfire rounds. First company tactical marines that can combat all targets with their different rounds. Stormtroopers chased by Banshees. Autarch jumping in as well. Some awesome to see that. Special attack from the Autarch, setting up the Banshees, running in and wrecking stuff, but they in turn are getting shot to pieces here by Marutectz's army, using the fight harder from the melter guns to increase the rate of fire of all this guards and weaponry. But they're being tied up by the Autarch. You see her inspiring on kill there. 220, 417. Haidran with double zone probes. Not something you see that often these days. Used to be pretty much a staple for Tyranids in team games. Get double zone tropes up, causing all sorts of problems. Good versus, really good versus Marutectz's composition, of course. The Lord General with incoming though is allowing him to tank that kind of stuff, I imagine. Manticore on the field for Vapor, and we have Ogrins on the field for Broodwich. 213, 415. There's that chem cannon spotting those naughty infiltrated shotgun scouts. Las cannon now getting shots on the Bane Wolf, which is level 2. Should be able to force off the las cannon with just the volley of plasma gun shots. Look at that, wipes them out in fact. So that is a big win for Broodwich. Finale not paying attention to his devastators. Look at the work that the Inquisitor's doing here. show off. Yes, they do. Get 40 red for taking down an auto. That's more red than you get for taking down a hero, which is a bit odd. I think that you only get 30 red for taking out a commander, as you can see there. The Warlock going down. I think it should scale to what level the commander is. Seems a bit cheap to get 30 red for taking down a level 10 Chaos Lord or something. Hell Fury on the Tyranids. Down goes a Bane Wolf. Finally, did a lot of work though for Broodwich. Really helped to keep Finale at bay. Made him purchase a las cannon as well, which he lost. 213-306. He has armored the Apothecarian, anointed power axe, improved medical equipment, Raven Alpha level 3 as we saw. Lord General back on his feet, as is the Commissar Lord, who's level 5. Power Sword, Flat Jacket, Stubbornness. Lord General still level 1. Level 5 Inquisitor 2. Ogrins running in. But Devastators then set up in their face. Look at the damage. They're able to tank it though, since they are super heavy infantry. They get really good resistance versus piercing damage, which is what a heavy bolter does. Wow. Surprised they didn't lose a model at that range though. That was really close to the heavy bolter. Able to get away. Yes, they are. But they pushed superbly there. If only he had some support. Wow. Plasma grenades in retreat path of the Ogrins almost completely wipes them out, and he did lose the bonehead leader, so that's a lot of reinforcing to do. The Inquisitor also goes down. She's level 6 now. Red team have the west side. Whoa, lots of dead guardsmen. Good grief. Did he lose a squad? I think he lost a squad there. Marutectz. So much range damage. He also has the range synapse from the Venom Brood. Yes. Multi-last turret is up. 185298. FrozenVapor has lost a lot of stuff. Imperial Guard all of a sudden struggling with Broodwich overextending slightly there, and Vapor losing some stuff. Not sure what happened to him there. Caught by the Eldar, I assume. And now Red Team in a little bit of trouble. They do have the 2-1, they do have a VP advantage, and they are, two of them in a way, tier 3. Broodwich is getting Lehman Russ up. Needs to be careful with these Tyranids though, because he has a Zone Throat Snare. He has AV damage from the Raven Alpha and AV damage of course from the Venom Brood. Bashing power again though are the blue team. Wraith Guard very good at bashing power. I think 3 volleys and they will wipe a generator on their own at level 1. Level 4 Warlock has the Champion's Robe and Heart of Darkness. Gives him quite a tanky build. Very annoying to deal with. 2-1 Cat. Broodwich pushing forward to decap the Rex. Plenty luck doing that. It's always good to keep pressure on those Rex. Marutectz going for a Manticore. A good choice, I think, against that Tyranid blob of death. And yeah, FrozenVapor lost his, I suppose. Here come the Ogrins of Marutectz and the rest of his stuff, supported by that Lord General. I'm sure he would love to tie up that Wraith Guard with those Ogrins. They've lost a model, but they are pushing back the blue team. Now everything turns to shoot at the Ogrins, but he's unable to suppress them with the Barbed Strangler. Marutectz doing a good job keeping his Lord General beside the Ogrins there to support them. Banshee's being chased. Where are they going? Special attack on the Ogrins though, and then they get to work with those power weapons. Ouch. Everything turns to engage the Banshees, but Fleet of Foot giving them resistance to range damage, and they are going to chase down the Ogrins and finish them off. That is what Howling Banshees do. 162-256. It's the Commissar Lord decapping blue team's natural. Might even be able to completely cap it there. Nothing nearby to defend. Lehman Russ, a pain in the ass for Finale to deal with, gets a Predator tank. Countering a Lehman Russ with a tank of your own. We'll see how that goes. Broodwich has double guards and repair support, and Lehman Russes have that 35% natural damage resistance inherent. Fire Prism on the field for Seahorse. Haidran is tier 3 and has got a lot of resources, but what is he going to go for? Doesn't have a lot of population to spend. Can't really churn out Carnifexes here. So you might see him go for a Swarm Lord. Give him a bit of melee presence and of course support his entire army with reinforcement and speed bonuses. Mercer Switchblade special attack, flinging the guardsman aside. Banshee's doing work. Level 3, he's used them well to be fair, Seahorse, against Catechans and what was double Sentinels at the start. Limit Rush chasing down the Fire Prison. This could be the end of it here. Banshee's going to try and force it off, but one more shot from the Lehman Russ. The Fire Prism's done for. Now Wraith Guard getting shots in. Tied up in turn by the Inquisitor, I think. Holy Pie goes up 141, 253. Tier 3 now for Marutectz. The last to go, getting that Manticore, keeping him in Tier 2 for a little while. Lord General takes this west side. There's the Doom of Malantite. Haidran has it up. And yes, this is going to be renamed to the Neurothrope in the next update, looks like. Neurothrope is the new Doom of Malantite-like unit in the latest Tyranid Codex. 121, 253. Swarmlord on the way now for Haidran. Has a Doom of Malantite and a Swarmlord on the way. See a Council for Seahorse. FrozenVapor looking very, very thin here. Just Guardsman and Manticore must have had a really bad engagement along the way, which I didn't see. That's a Creeping Barrage. Gets the Ravener Alpha off the cap. Well done, Marutectz. Now take it back. And there was a full retreat by Haidran. Was there a Manticore strike? Must have been. Manticore has no XP, so hasn't made any kills. 111, 248. The Warlock taking red team's natural, so it's going to be a 2-1 for blue. Marutectz doing well on his side against that massive Tyranid army, but FrozenVapor needs to try and recover here, or they aren't going to be able to hold mid. There's a rocket run. Angels of Death to try and support his infantry from Finale. And it works. The second rocket run couldn't knock down his stuff because Angels of Death gives you full knockback immunity to all forms of knockback. Ogrins, wow, sprinting in. They are deceptively quick, these guys, even without Use Your Red. But when they're in charge mode, they can really shift it. 111, 246. Pergatus going off from the Inquisitor. This is level 7, pushing level 8 now. The Predator tank does live. The Lumen Rust now getting some much needed repairs. Ogrins level 3 have done well. What's going on west side? We have some Termagants capping. Tornado Formation went off. Looks like it forced Marutectz away, and he pushed against the Manticore and took it down. Nicely done, Haidran. Swarmlord now. How is he going to deal with this? He's going to struggle to deal with this. Drops a Lumen Rust. That's going to help. Get a Lumen Rust on the field without spending power. Massive, massive. Great thing that the Lord General can do. I think it's 600 rec, 300 red, I think, to get that on the field. Instant drop anywhere as well. Only commander can deliver a tank that way, unless you count the Land Raider Crusader. Big heavy vehicle dropped on your face, I suppose. Assault Marines on the way for Finale. That's brave. Maybe he wants to get Vanguard veterans immediately and then use Merciless Strike and stuff to take down the Ogrins with Apothecary support. Lumen Rust now being pushed. Needs to get a las cannon on this heavy weapon team, or at least an auto cannon. I think there is Leech Essence from the Swarmlord. One of its abilities is draining health and healing itself of all of these guardsmen, and eventually is persuaded to leave. No sign of a anti-vehicle weapon for the heavy weapon squad. Maybe he wants to save his resources to get another Lehman Russ up quickly. 2-1 cap for blue team. They are pushing really hard and the map is looking very, very blue. Marutectz with another heavy weapon squad on the way. Surely that will be a las cannon. That Swarmlord is a massive pain in the ass for him. So Council are up. Back at base, coming out now. No gates from Seahorse. Apothecary level 3. Going after the Commissar Lord. Warlock is level 7 though. There he is leaping into combat. Level 2 Leman Russ. And double Stormtroopers from Vapor. Oh, he's using the Catachan's elite scheme. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Is he? He must be. Yeah, those Stormtroopers are all Catachan. Look. That's cool. 111, 117. More Leman Russ is on the way. Marutectz struggling though against the Tyranids now. Needs some help over here. Because he has been hit quite a few times by Seahorse coming over. That's kind of getting shots on the Swarm Lord. Whoa, rocket run on the Tyranids. That was beautifully placed. Doom of Malatai survives, and those Termagants, level 4 Termagants, somehow make it out of there. Lots of pressure though from blue team. They're not letting red team settle and come back out into the field. They want to decap this VP, obviously. Wraith Guard are going to try and do so, are they? They do have Apothecary support there. Here come the Seer Council. Power melee squad that leap into combat. These guys already level 3. Up to 3,300 hit points. I think they get 3,800 hit points level 4. Pretty nuts for a squad that mobile, doing that much DPS. They also give you passive buffs, of course, if you're close to them. Triple Leman Russes trying to hold the line. Here come Ogrins catching up to the Wraith Guard, who are using their Wraith Bone, but they're caught now. Can they not retreat when Wraith Bone is active? I guess not. Banshee is getting shot to absolute hell. Gonna take him down, yes. Ogrins now level 4. Really good counter push by the Imperial Guard. That's what triple Leman Russes can do for you. Vanguard veterans are on the field for finale. First Company Assault Marines with power melee weapons, Thunderhammer, 2 power swords and a lightning core, and he's switching to the power fist to try and help deal with all these vehicles. 50 DPS heavy melee weapon, I believe. Try and get it on rear armor, can do a job for you. There's Angel of Death. Jumping back to get to this Leman Russ, which might be done for. Struggling to park it is Broodwich. And down it goes. Vanguard, Stone Guard veterans, I should say, with their Vengeance rounds helping out there. Needs to be careful, Broodwich. We're going to lose both of his Leman Russes in quick succession here. 111.68. That counter push has kind of lost momentum a little bit. Finale. Oh, loses his Stone Guard veterans though. He was waiting for the drop pod, didn't quite come in time, but does reinforce his Vanguard veterans and takes down the other Leman Russ. So massive losses for the Imperial Guard team. 111.57. It's a single cap. Blue team are taking the west side, and Marutectz again is fighting 2 players. A Lictor on the field soon for Haidran. Swarm Lord continues to be a massive problem. Doom of Malatai also. Some Warp Spiders up late game for Seahorse. Double cap for blue team. This is probably it. He's going for the triple. It's finale. He really has kept the pressure up superbly well, finale. Scouts unable to cap it, but the double cap should see them out here. I don't see red team able to push the west side anytime soon. Nope. Gonna tick down. Oh, rocket run on the Eldar stuff. Ouch. Wow, did a lot of damage there right at the end of the game. Who was that? Like, maybe that was Marutectz, perhaps Vapor. Nice nuke right there. There you have it, guys. Let's look at the commanders. Level 5 Ravenant Alpha had reinforced Chitin, Cross Devourer, and Synapse Aura for damage. Warlock level 7 with the Merciless Switchblade, Champion's Robe, Heart of Darkness, Finale. Apothecary only hit level 3. Armored Apothecarian and improved medical equipment with the United Power Axe. Marutectz Lord General almost level 4 with Melter Guns, Flat Jacket. He had the Commissar retinue member at one point. Commissar Lord with Power Sword, Flat Jacket, and the awesome Emperor's Wrath. And Broodwich's Inquisitor hitting level 10. Good grief. Holy Brazier, Purgatus, and the Inquisitorial Mandate. There you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.